Are you ready to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully? Then let go of whatever no longer serves you to take action now on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Erica will energize and excite you to power up your passionate dream that sets your soul on fire. With Erica's E3 approach, equipping, empowering, and enlightening yourself so you can be yourself for yourself. Get ready and get rooted to live a life without regrets, without what ifs, without should haves, and especially without empty feelings from a life unexplored. This hit show helps you build powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go. Get fearlessly ready and powerfully rooted in your yes with your host, Erica Gifford Mills, and be fearless about your more and stand in your yes. Now on Get Rooted Radio.
Welcome, everyone. I am Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio, living it up, loving it up, letting it go, right here on Transformation Talk Revolution. Shout out to my producer today, Emily. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Can you believe it is June 1st?
I'm so excited about it.
I don't know how the year is, almost halfway done. Usually January's 735 days, and can't wait to get in just to February. And now I'm like, it's June 1st. It's a fast changing world. But today we're going to be talking about rooted flame leadership, raising your voice, visibility, and impact in a changing world. And during this conversation, my guest, Cami Guildner, and I will be sharing what we see women entrepreneurs who are growing in new ways with more intention, more alignment, and a deeper commitment to meaningful impact. We will explore how voice, visibility, and relationship-centered growth create businesses that are both prosperous and life-giving. This episode is an invitation for all you listeners to stand fully in your wisdom, be seen for who and what you truly bring to the world, and lead what's emerging next. But I'd like to tell you a bit about my guest. Cami is an amazing woman, and I will not do her intro justice. Really, she believes women voices matter. She is a true connector, a storyteller, a business coach for high vibe women entrepreneurs, helping them raise up their voice, vision, and visibility for impact and business growth. She is the founder of Extraordinary Women Ignite Conference and host of the award-winning Extraordinary Women Radio, which I had the opportunity of being on. It was a wonderful episode. Well, not because I was on it.
It was a wonderful episode.
That was a little bit of pat on the back there. That's not what I meant. She is the best-selling author of Fire Dancer, Your Spiral Journey to a Life of Passion and Purpose, and was named to the 2020 25 Most Powerful Women in Business list by the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. Cami works with movement maker women entrepreneurs who have built successful businesses and are scaling to multi-six-figure and beyond, now stepping into their next level of visibility, influence, and revenue. These are the women whose work is expanding and who are ready to be known for their ideas. I could go on so much more, so thank you for being on the show today, Cami.
Oh gosh, Erica, thank you for having me. And you were fabulous when you were on Extraordinary Women Radio, so it's great to thank you for having me here today on your show.
Yeah, well, during this first segment, we're going to talk about the new era of women's leadership in business. So let's just jump right in. What are you noticing in women entrepreneurs right now? What feels different about how they lead, or how they want to lead and grow?
Yeah, I think what's happened is that women have gotten really grounded in knowing that they want to build businesses that support their life. And they don't want to live to support their business. They want to, they really want to build businesses they love. And so they're slowing down and they're pausing and they're asking, what does that actually mean? And, so for each person, it's going to be different. And every woman is but they're doing that inner work. So every woman is tuning in, doing that inner work. And they're saying, okay, what's calling to me right now? And what's shifting? And so they're not willing to go out and work 70-hour weeks. They are like, I want to build my business in a way that really serves me. And so they're just tuning in. They're tuning in and they're doing it with relationships. They're growing their businesses with relationships. And I think that's another aspect of this is that, a lot of the old ways of marketing are going by the wayside. And we're really starting to say, how do I build deeper relationships with the people in my communities? And that in itself, I think, is a big shift as well.
Yeah, it's collaboration over competition.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to be seeing that because I just finished an event where the primary purpose was one to get new speakers on stage, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
To be able to help them, elevate them, but also to not it wasn't about just that one day. I wanted people to walk away having built true relationships, not
Yeah.
what I call speed dating networking.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, no.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's we actually did a bingo game, right? We said during lunch, you need to talk to one another. You need like I had no tables. We had high tables, so they could walk around and eat and
Hmm.
everything. But
Hmm.
it was because I really wanted folks to not have just that surface level, right?
Yeah.
Like how can we work together? How do we say each other's names when we're not in the room?
Yeah.
And I loved that. And I love that that's what you're seeing as well. And it's almost that they're redefining success on their terms.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what is that desire, right? For businesses to create impact and time and wealth prosperity.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, well, I think that, we've all had phases in our life, seasons in our life where we worked really hard. And, it's that, and to me, when you're getting to that next level of your business, it's really about starting to release because, you can grow your business by just adding more and adding more and adding more. And the business starts to feel heavy. But when you're getting ready to go into if you're growing your business into the multi six figures, the way you're going to grow is you're going to let go of some of the things that you have added into your business and you're going to start simplifying. And when you start to simplify, that's where you can start to look at time prosperity and wealth prosperity through a different lens. And when I talk about, I'm going to just even hit on time prosperity because so often we just think, okay, time prosperity just means more time, but it's also the energy and that we move through our days. It's the energy we move from one meeting to the next. It's the energy that
Mhm.
as we close out our day, we move into the evening. Are we making space to pause, or are we always in a rush? If we're always in a rush, we will feel that energetically in our bodies. And that is not time prosperity. So the time prosperity, I mean, one of my favorite places to practice time prosperity is even in the airport, going somewhere where you know what time you've got to be at the gate, but you take your time getting there and you're not rushing yourself ever at any point during the day. Next time you go to the airport, try that. As the listeners, next time you go to the airport, just try that and see how it feels differently by the time you get to your destination. If you look at your day with time prosperity.
Yeah. And I've been doing that recently.
Have you?
I Yes, because I used to be like, all right, I don't need to be to the gate to that time. And then I would leave just in time to get there. And then I was rushed because I
Right,
felt like, well, I need to get stuff done before I can go, right?
right.
And I just you can, traveling is can be stressful as it is, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
something goes wrong, oh, did I remember to pack this or whatever it might be? And then you just are adding to it when you do that. So I
yeah,
started actually doing the getting there at least 2 hours before so that I
yeah,
could sit. Maybe I could sit and have a cup of coffee.
yeah,
If it's later and I'm not doing anything when I first get back there, maybe I'll sit and have a glass of wine, right?
yeah,
Just it's makes it so much more relaxing, less
yeah,
stressful,
yeah,
and you you're not cranky,
yeah,
because you see all the people who are traveling that can be
yeah,
really cranky, and
yeah.
it's just like you're not being triggered off of them, and it makes such a difference.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we've fried our nervous systems over the years, right? And it's being able to say, how can I take care of me first so I can go do my best work for my clients?
Yeah.
And that's really, it's going to change everything for you if you can find that pace.
Well, and I mean, just like they say, you can't pour from an empty cup. It's
Right.
so true. If you are always depleted, you
Hmm.
do nobody any good. Your
Right.
family, your friends, your clients, anyone. And
Yeah.
so if you're not taking care of yourself and having
Yeah.
that, I mean, and that's part of that inner work that you were talking about, being more
Yeah.
conscious so
Yeah.
that you can give it all when you need to give it all, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah.
true. So true.
So what, how are women looking at businesses in the future? Are they, are is it more so of how we are doing an impactful, meaningful, more
Hmm.
alignment with
Hmm.
beliefs, goals, those sort of things?
Well, I think it's they want both mission and money, right?
Yeah.
They want to make a difference. They're being called to make a difference. I think all of us in this space right now are being called to bring our gifts out to help serve our clients. And so the mission is good, but also we love money, right? We want to make money in our businesses. And
Absolutely.
so it's mission and money. And I think that what women are wanting to do, I did a lot of research last year. I went on a listening campaign. And I went out and spoke to hundreds of women entrepreneurs and just listened to what was going on in their world. And what I was hearing was that a lot of women were starting to release some products that, it's like you'd added on products and things were, and they were putting their focus on like a very specific group of people that was speaking to their heart, right? So it
Hmm.
was very connected in their heart. There was a mission behind their words and why they were doing the work. They believed in the work that they were doing at the very core of who they are.
Yeah.
And when we get that kind of passion, and it's passion can be, there's so much fire in it, right? That's what really levers us into that next level in our businesses. And so having both that alignment, but then also the strategy that can support that is how we can really start to grow our businesses in a way that that give us the life that we want.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about raising your voice and stepping into meaningful visibility. But before we go, Cami, tell folks how they can connect with you.
Best way is on my website. It's camiguildner.com, KAMIGUILDNER.com. And there's a get updates button on the top right corner, and it will take you to my free classes that I do every month. And I'm on all the socials as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You are listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or in grief, I'm here to help. I'm Faye Lau, intuitive healer and founder of Faye Inspired Healing. Through soul-guided sessions, I help you reconnect with your body's wisdom and inner truth. Whether you're healing from loss, letting go of pain, or rising into elevated energies, my work combines energy clearing, grief support, and spiritual coaching. Schedule a session or learn more at fayinspiredhealing.com.
Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any portion of today's episode, you can catch it on getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com. Don't forget to subscribe online to receive the latest news, events, specials, and words of encouragement. Welcome back to my guest, Cami Guildner. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You are most welcome. So, during our first segment, we discussed the new era of women's leadership in business. And during this segment, we're going to talk about raising your voice and stepping into meaningful visibility. So, why voice? Tell me,
Yeah.
why is voice the foundation of influence and leadership?
Well, as a foundation for me, I believe women's wisdom is the medicine our earth needs right now.
Mhm.
And when I think about that, when I feel into that, I believe that women are going to be leading businesses in new ways. I believe that we're leading change in the world that's really going to make a difference. And when I look at it through that lens, the way we do that is putting our voice out in the world. If we are not using our voice, we're playing small, right? And so our voices is what takes our wisdom out into the world and lets that ripple effect happen, and helps us connect with the people that we're meant to connect with. So our voice is always the place to start, and it's clarity around what it is that you stand for. It's clarity around your thought leadership. and clarity around, if you're putting a stake in the ground, what is it that you want? What's the changes that you want people to make? What do you want them to stop, think, and act and do differently because they've come into the community with you? And so that's a big piece of that. And then the other piece of voice is really about it's about speaking your client's love language. It's about tapping into what is it that your clients are what are the stories they're in right now? What resonates for them? Because things are shifting and changing at such a rapid pace. I mean, what was relevant to your clients 2 years ago is not relevant today. Things have shifted. So really being deep into that customer journey. So those are the two pieces of voice that I think are so important. And I know there was a second part of that question now. I don't remember what it was.
No, that's okay. Essentially, I mean, what I say was we lead like a woman,
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean that we lead better or worse than a man.
Yeah.
Being a woman is our superpower. I
Yes,
like to say is that
absolutely.
we have different ways, and I think we at one point we were taught to lead like a man when we were first getting into
Yep.
like the business world, entrepreneurship, all
Yep.
this, and we weren't ourselves. It wasn't
Right.
authentic.
We put the mask
And
on, we
yep,
button up the three-piece suit and not, all the things, right? The
yeah,
shoulder, I mean, I can go back to shoulder
shoulder
pads.
pads.
So yeah.
Yep. But I think women now, and if we're not, we should, right? Lead with your authentic self.
Absolutely.
That emotional intelligence, that
Mhm.
vulnerability, that compassion, those things will get you followers. And I don't mean like, it doesn't matter what your title is. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO, if you're this, you can still lead
Yeah.
when you are authentic and you
Yeah.
are leading from the heart. And I think that is so important. And in your voice, your visibility is your responsibility.
Yeah.
um we have to do that. No one's going to do it for us,
Right.
and if we're not willing to do it, how is somebody else going to speak your name?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
how can women share their message um with clarity, confidence, and depth?
Well, I always have people start with, getting to say who they are at their very essence, like dive deep into the essence of who you are. Because if you are coming from that space of this is who I am, and it's not, you've taken the mask off, you're really building that essence of you,
Yeah.
and then you can speak from you. And you can get there by listening to finding your own stories. Like your stories will help tell the your listeners, your viewers, it will help them connect into who you are. Stories are so powerful. It will make you memorable. It will make your stories repeatable, all those sorts of things. And when we are tuning into who we are at our essence, speaking our stories, weaving in the language that our clients want, that attracts our ideal clients in, that's where we really get to that point where we're grounded and we're knowing that's that authentic self, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
we're built that all those pieces fit together.
Yeah. No, and you nailed it right there, is that when you aren't pretending to be something you're not,
Right.
or letting go of the expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're going and doing, you know, as cliche as it sounds, you're doing you, being you for you.
Yeah.
And when you do that, doors open up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
what would you say for our listeners, some practical ways to become more visible, right? To be seen,
Mm-hmm.
to be known, to be trusted for the work that they're doing?
Yeah. Well, I love stages. I love podcasting. I've got 400, I think my EA told me I'm 440 episodes into my own show. So, it's like the consistency is what's going to open that up for you from a visibility perspective. But find your rhythm. Find the rhythm of where you want to be. If you want to be on stages, if you want to be on podcasts, find the rhythm of what that looks like. Bring your teachings, your trainings into it as well, so that you're like, so people, once they get to know you one time, they can go deeper with you into some of your trainings, whether that's in a master class or a webinar or however, a live event even. It's like,
Yeah.
how can you get people to know you even more deeply? And so I teach my clients to do marketing ecosystems. It's a know, love, and trust marketing ecosystem. So we're tapping into other people's audiences. We're working with our existing community that already loves, and trusts us, and keeping we're nurturing that community, and then we're bringing our trainings to the mix of that as well. So it's like a layer, 3 levels, and the trainings that we do. So whether you've been on stages or guest podcasting, those trainings will enable people to go deeper with you. And people that already know, love, and trust you can go into your trainings. They can get more information from you. They can go deeper with you. And that creates an ecosystem where people really, they fall in love with what you're bringing into the world, because that's how people connect with you, right? As they're connecting with you on your words, on your teachings. And so finding that rhythm is what really helps you build that trust, that know, love, and trust. And I say love because I love my clients, and I want my clients to love me. I want them to love being a part of my community. And so pouring into our communities in that way is a great way to really build that.
Yeah. And that is important. It's taking the time
Yeah.
to invest in that relationship.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you're not going to take the time to invest in the relationship, some of these clients are going to be one and done.
Yeah.
Because they feel that, right?
Yeah.
When you pour into somebody and you make them feel special, and I'm not saying fall special, right? 'Cause,
Right.
you want to make sure that they feel it genuinely, right?
Yeah.
It's not, oh, it's like I say, blowing smoke, right? We're not
Yeah.
blowing smoke.
Yeah.
But it is. And I think when you love what you do,
Yeah.
and it is aligned with your values, your beliefs, your future that you want to create,
Right.
that's very easy to be pouring into that.
Yeah. And even people that come into your communities on social. I mean, you probably have
Yeah.
people every single day that come in and reach out to connect with you. And so when they do, take the time, don't just accept that connection. Find out about that person, learn more about that connection, build on that connection, invite them into something that you're doing, and not in a salesy way, but in really a heart to heart. Well, this might be useful for you.
Right.
And when you're doing that, you're building, people are going to remember that, right? I mean, I remember when I started doing like DMs where people would reach out and connect with me, and then I'd, start DMing them back. And I thought, oh, I don't want them to feel like I'm being salesy. And I wasn't being salesy. I was, and when people would start saying, oh, thank you for telling me about that.
Yeah.
I started to realize how much people want, I mean, if somebody's reached out to connect with you, give them the respect to open up that relationship.
Yeah. And I think that's what's important. You're don't think of it as being salesy.
Yeah.
You're providing information, a service, resources. And when you truly mean that, it won't come across salesy. And I think
Exactly.
that's, and I get that, because I don't like to come across salesy either.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about relationship overreach, the power of trust-centered growth. But before we go, Cammie, tell folks how they can connect with you and learn more about what you have to offer, where they can find your podcast, all that.
Okay, so my podcast is Extraordinary Women Radio, and we publish every week, so that's a great place to catch me. My website is cammieguildner.com. And like I said earlier, we do free trainings every single month. So it's I love to give back to the people who are in my communities.
Thank you so much. I'm Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio, living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Imagine having a team of top-notch attorneys and identity protection experts right at your fingertips 24/7. That's the power of Legal Shield and ID Shield. Legal Shield gives you access to affordable legal services for everything from contracts to traffic tickets. And ID Shield protects your personal information, and it's monitored against identity theft with restoration support if anything goes wrong. Visit the link in the show notes of this episode for more information.
Rethinking your purpose in life? Become a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist today. Bryn Blankenship is a renowned certified master hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. In addition to her own show, Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons Bringing You Full Circle, Bryn is a popular radio show guest who speaks about her soul expression spiritual regression, her transformative method for finding and following your soul's guidance. For more information on her hypnoregression and afterlife regression certification programs, visit brynblankenship.com.
What if your training isn't enough? The Multicultural Mindset Podcast invites counselors and therapists to unlearn the one-size-fits-all approach. This isn't cultural competence. It's a way of being that brings racialized experiences from the margins to the very center of care. Let's stop pathologizing Black pain and start challenging the system that created the bias in the first place. Visit newseasons.training to subscribe.
We remember a time when you could simply form a thought and it would manifest. The harmony was forgotten, but it is returning now. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia will take you on adventures through the heart and spirit, exploring who we once were and how to awaken that power today. Julia studied under the guidance of wolves, learning from their wisdom to master a higher frequency for new state of mind. Learn to master the secrets of manifestation. Visit onetrueself.com.
If you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or in grief, I'm here to help. I'm Faye Lau, intuitive healer and founder of Faye Inspired Healing. Through soul-guided sessions, I help you reconnect with your body's wisdom and inner truth. Whether you're healing from loss, letting go of pain, or rising...
We're back on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Don't forget to visit GetRootedRadio.com to listen to a replay of this episode, sign up for helpful tips, and learn about upcoming events. That's GetRootedRadio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Cammie Guildner. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
During the last segments, we discussed the new era of women's leadership in business and raising your voice and stepping into meaningful visibility. Now, during this segment, we're going to discuss relationship overreach, the power of trust-centered growth. So first, what do you mean by that, right? What do you mean by trust-centered growth?
So we can grow our businesses with a lot of different ways, right? I mean, you've seen the online approaches that people have taught over the years.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of relationship that gets built. And so when I set up, and we were just talking about this no love and trust marketing ecosystem.
Yes.
I knew that we needed to change up how we were doing marketing, because what's happening, and Google has some great stats around this. It's like people are consuming up to, I think, 11 hours of our content across 7 different touch points, 4 different platforms before they ever get to a buying decision. And so if we look at it through that lens, what we know is that if we need to create long form content so that people can actually consume up to 11 hours of our content. So podcasts are such a great way to do that, right? Because, I'm sure you've had this, Erica, where people have been listening to your podcast and they jump on and they go, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you because I've been listening to, 3 of your episodes and I love what you talked about, da, 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 da. And so that's where you want that long form content so people can get to know you deeper. And so when you look at your marketing ecosystem, make sure that you've got spaces where people can go deeper. They can binge on you, right? That's an important piece, is that they can go binge on you. And that starts to build this knowing. So when I talk about relationship overreach, reach is great. We want to reach more people, but chances are you don't need 1,000 new people coming through your door. You actually probably, if you had 10 new clients coming through your door in the next 5 months, you probably would be pretty excited about that, right? Or if you had, depending on where you are and what your offers are, it might be 20 new people in the next 5-6 months. Each person is different in what their offers are and how they serve, but the chances are that you don't need thousands of people coming through your door. So there's the reach
Right.
piece, right? It's the right people that you want to be having conversations with, and it's the right needs that you want to be serving. It's like you've defined your niche, you know who it is that you're going after. And I'm not talking about marketing 101. I am talking about like deeply getting to know your clients, the customer journey.
Yeah.
And that's where you're like, okay, you're speaking. They're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need. And that's what you want people leaning into. And that's so again, it's relationship overreach. It's like who can you build deeper relationships with and go, and just bring them into your ecosystem in a bigger way. That will do more for you all day long than worrying about, how many likes did you get? How many, how many, shares did this happen with this social media post? The relationship all day long will precede that.
Yeah. And I think it's taking the time to forge, right? To have those conversations.
Yeah.
Don't just expect to get a connection on LinkedIn or social media and now that person's going to buy from you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what have you put into it to build that relationship to get that trust?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
when they trust you,
Yeah.
now
And if
it's a relation, right? An actual relationship.
Yeah, and if they've been binging on your content, the great thing about that is by the time they actually come into the door for a sales conversation with you, it's a shorter sales cycle because
Yeah.
they've already done a lot of the pre-work and going, oh my gosh, I really resonate with this person. I think I want to know more about this person, and it's a much easier yes to get to.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking the time. I mean, you think about that's what relationships are,
Yeah,
whether it's personal, business, romantic,
yeah,
family. You need to take that time to pour into it.
yeah,
And and I think sometimes people forget
yeah,
that, you're not going to have a business, you're not going to have clients if you don't try to build a meaningful relationship because as you said, that's where the sustainable momentum comes into
yeah,
play.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So what is another way that we could build communities, right? So not just clients, but the communities, right? Where
yeah.
we're working together and alongside one another.
Yeah, and you hit on this earlier, but I'll tell you the thing that for me that I've been building communities I mean, I'm in business now for 18 years. And when I think about the communities that I have built, and that's one of the things that the feedback I get, I host my Ignite conference every year, and I often get feedback that the community that comes to that room is just amazing, right? It's like this is such a powerful group of women. How did you get to this point of building this community? And you hit on it earlier when you said you created an environment where people get to have a deeper conversation. So very early in my business, I really started to when I was bringing people together, I would look for ways to to create conversation that
Mm,
people would go deeper. They'd share something personal. So the power of a question, like a great question is can build community in a great way. Is so you want people to get into their stories and share their stories. So creating environments where you can bring people together where they can share stories, where they can share something that is meaningful to them. And from that point, you really people go, "Oh my gosh, that's a story that resonates for me because of this." Right?
yeah.
And that opens up the door for that next piece of this,
Yeah. And
of
that
like, building community.
yeah, and that's, you know, without a community, I always say without the audience, it doesn't matter if you're a speaker,
Yeah.
right? Without your
Yeah.
community, I had somebody eh, they wrote a recommendation from my event and what they had said is it's easier to believe in yourself when you have a community around you who believes in you too.
Oh, so
And
true.
and it is. And
Yeah.
it's not about, the validation, right? It's just when you have, you're believing in yourself and you have people behind you going, "Yes, do it. This is awesome. You're doing great." That feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good. And when we can lift one another up,
Yeah.
you think about it as, you're not trying to climb over people as you climb up that ladder of
No,
success. You should
no.
be reaching down your hands and
And
pulling
pulling them
up.
up. Oh,
Yep.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
And I'm glad that we see that more in our communities, especially with women, because I think
Yeah.
a lot of times we were pit against each other
In the
and
corporate world.
in the corporate world,
Yep.
and that became then the norm.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad to kind of see that reversing,
Yeah.
so that we really are helping one another and building those relationships back to where they should be.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of women entrepreneurship is we are natural collaborators and connectors. And so that is, if we can tap into that gift that we bring, that collaboration and connection,
Yeah.
that's going to grow our businesses so much more quickly and so much more fun.
Yeah. It really is, because there are things where like, ooh, that would be a great thing to do together, right? Or
Yeah.
I don't have that talent, but you know what? I know Cami does. Let's bring her in on this because she will be able to do X, Y, and Z, and then we can work together on. And I think that's what, that relationship over
Yeah.
the reach kind of
Yeah.
comes into play. Like, hey,
Yeah.
and being willing, it's not like you're giving away a secret sauce.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And yeah. And I think
I
that,
mean, there's plenty of people out there for all of us. And, it's like, if we are collaborating, we are going to open up energetically into more abundance in our lives versus if we're like trying to like grasp at keeping things small around us, right? I mean, it's just an energetic nature.
yeah. And I think that is, like you said, it's so important to have
Yeah.
that. So anything else that you would think that you would want our listeners to know about the power of the trust-centered growth?
Yeah, what I would say is know that it comes from within. So if you embody your
Mm.
message, if you are just so tuned into what you stand for, people feel that. So it's one of the things I love to help people do is like, find what it is you stand for, but not only just be confident in that message, but actually step into that next level of embodying your message and walking in your message. So when you walk in a room and you share that message with someone, people are leaning in because they can feel you. They can feel the energy of your passion around it. They can feel the energy of why you believe whatever it is that you believe. And that's how you create attraction into your work is by just being like it comes from deep inside of you, like down in your very core. I believe this. If you can find that, people feel it.
Yeah. And that is so important because people may not always remember exactly what you said.
Hmm.
They'll be able to repeat portions of it,
Yeah,
but they never forget how they felt when
yeah,
they were listening to you.
absolutely.
Because I always say when you're speaking, um, people really don't care what they care what you have to say, but they care on how is this going to help me, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Why do I need what you're telling me,
yeah,
right? What does your story have to do with me?
yeah,
And because that's just human nature, right?
yeah.
It's not that they don't care. It's just how is this relatable to me?
Hmm.
And how can I then use it to move forward? Because
Yeah,
that's what people are thinking. So
yeah.
well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to finish out the show with leading what you're here to create next.
Mm.
So tell folks how they can reach you and learn more about your free trainings.
They can reach me at camiguildner.com, KAMIGUILDNER.com. And if you go to the Get Updates button in the top upper right corner of my homepage, you will see the list of all my free trainings that I do every month.
Perfect. This is Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Imagine having a team of top-notch attorneys and identity protection experts right at your fingertips 24/7. That's the power of Legal Shield and ID Shield. Legal Shield gives you access to affordable legal services for everything from contracts to traffic tickets. And ID Shield protects your personal information, and it's monitored against identity theft with restoration support if anything goes wrong. Visit the link in the show notes of this episode for more information.
You're thinking your purpose in life? Become a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist today. Bryn Blankenship is a renowned certified master hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. In addition to her own show, Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons Bringing You Full Circle, Bryn is a popular radio show guest who speaks about her soul expression spiritual regression, her transformative method for finding and following your soul's guidance. For more information on her hypnoregression and afterlife regression certification programs, visit brynblankenship.com.
What if your training isn't enough? The Multicultural Mindset Podcast invites counselors and therapists to unlearn the one-size-fits-all approach. This isn't cultural competence. It's a way of being that brings racialized experiences from the margins to the very center of care. Let's stop pathologizing Black pain and start challenging the system that created the bias in the first place. Visit newseasons.training to subscribe.
We remember a time when you could simply form a thought and it would manifest. The harmony was forgotten, but it is returning now. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia will take you on adventures through the heart and spirit, exploring who we once were and how to awaken that power today. Julia studied under the guidance of wolves, learning from their wisdom to master a higher frequency.
Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any of the information during the last segments, you can go to getrootedradio.com to listen to the replay. Don't forget to subscribe, sign up for tips and special events and pricing and upcoming coaching and speaking sessions at getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Cami Guildner. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Erica.
So tell listeners one last time how they can connect with you, learn more about your services, your podcast, your free trainings, all that.
Yeah, so it's camiguildner.com, and you can learn about my free trainings there. And I host also a conference every year called Extraordinary Women Ignite every November. This year it's going to be November 5th through 7th. And that's a great way to come, just join and be in a room full of amazing women and really set up your business for the new year. And then I'm on all the socials. My podcast is Extraordinary Women Radio.
Perfect. So during the last segments, we discussed the new era of women's leadership in business, about raising our voices and stepping into meaningful visibility and relationship overreach, the power of the trust-centered growth. And during this last segment, we're going to discuss leading what you're here to create next. So how can women who are listening be kind of on the lookout, right, for what they want to be emerging in their business?
Yeah. So if you've been we talked about time prosperity earlier in this episode. And if you're making space, that white space on your calendar, and that some of it is, for fun things, but it's also some of it is for like getting, spending time with yourself saying, what do I want my business to be? So actually doing the CEO space of what's your business calling to, what is it calling you to step into? What's that next level of your business? What's the next level of your work? So, pausing and listening is one important part of that. And when you're pausing and listening, you're going to hear, what's there. It's like, this is what I really want to be doing in my business. So listen, really listen there. And then two, I would say, get clear on your thought leadership messaging, because that's how you really start to step into that next level of your work that's calling to you, is find that, and I call it your one message for the world. And find your one message for the world that gets people to stop, think, and act and do differently. And once you have that, embody it, right? You're walking into that message, and you're that's how you're leading the change. Don't play small with this. It's like if you have this calling that is speaking to you, and you're here to do important work, to create that ripple effect with the work that you do, step into it. feel into it. Put support around you that helps you stretch into that next level of growth for you and for your business. And that's where you really start to find your voice and then step into it in a way that you're leading your communities that you've been building, you're leading the people that are drawn to you into your messaging, and then you are leading into your next level of you and your next level of your business and how you support your clients.
And that takes work, right? That's
Yeah.
the self-awareness, the
Yes.
doing that work, and we should all be doing that on
All
a
the
regular
time.
basis. Yeah, because
Exactly.
we change.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things for people to say to me is like, "You've changed." And I'm like, "I sure hope so. I sure
Yeah.
hope I'm not the same person I was,
Yeah.
at 20, 30,
Exactly.
40, 50. I
Yeah.
hope that I've evolved and changed from the things I've learned." Um,
Absolutely.
and it's if we're not, why is that? Are we not growing? Doesn't mean that you're rewriting your life story, but when things happen, right? We
Yeah.
need to be able to pivot. We need to change. I mean, look at what the pandemic did.
Yeah.
Um, you, so many things changed. So
Yeah.
many. I mean, you got people who are working remotely. Now you've got, buildings that are standing empty because they don't need um,
Yeah.
the space.
Yeah.
And it, how do you evolve into
Yeah.
that?
And part of what
Um,
I even say is it's not so much about a pivot. And even there's been times in my business where I've made shifts, but I've
yes,
not made total pivots because I want to bring all of me
right.
forward with into this next version of me. I don't want to, like cut off an arm and leave it behind. I wanted to bring all of me into this next phase of who I am. And there's some things we may release that are no longer serving us, but when it comes to who we are, that's what we want to make sure we keep whole. That's
Yeah,
the piece that we want to really bring forward in stepping into that what's next, the next evolution of our
yeah.
businesses
No,
and
I think that's a
ourselves.
great clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be some practical tips, tricks, um, an invitation of sorts, right? For our listeners on where they need to go next, right? On what are they there to create next?
Yeah. So I would say, just get your journal out. I mean, I'm a big fan of like pulling my journal out and and just starting to say asking. In fact, one of my best ways to do this is to write a letter to yourself from your business.
Mm,
And if you write a letter to yourself from your business, some little hints are going to come up of what your business wants you to know. So that's one great trick to really tap into that. But you can just ask yourself simply, it's like, who am I becoming? And what does my business want to be in the mix in this next phase? Who are my favorite clients that I want more of those clients? And what's unique about them that takes them to that you can really turn up your marketing, your customer journey and how you're attracting clients in that way. Um, Go ahead.
no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, because these
Okay.
are the little shifts that you need to make, right?
Yeah.
And if we're not asking ourselves these questions
Right.
or writing ourselves those letters,
Hmm.
how are we going to, and if you don't know the answer, right? If you don't know what you want or where you're going,
Yeah.
that's a sign too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you kind of draw a blank with that. But chances are if you ask the question and just start writing, little nuggets are going to start showing up for you. It may not be clear all at once, but the little signposts that are showing up, as you're working with a client you really love, or as you are journaling, and you'll start to be able to connect the dots on this. And so, you hit on it. It's like it's not something that you just do once and forget about it. It's something you do on a regular basis.
Yeah. And again, it's just like working out, right? You're working a muscle
Yeah.
and you need to continue to work that muscle, and otherwise you're going to lose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So what would be if there's one key takeaway or 2 or 3 key takeaways for our listeners, what would you want that to be?
Okay. I would say tune in and listen for the calling. What's the calling for you right now? Because I think that we're all being called into serve in bigger ways. And so chances are that that calling that you're hearing is serving the world on a grander scale, right? We were all born in this time right now to bring our gifts and our work out into the world. And so listen to what that calling is. And then number 2 is step into it. Step into what that calling is and go, okay, how am I going to serve people with this calling? How do I step into this in a bigger way? Don't play small. Look for ways that you actually can feel the expansion in your body. When you go, oh, that feels exciting, and then maybe even a little bit scary, right? It's like when you start thinking bigger for your business, it'd be like, oh, do I really want that? And then I would say, step into it, right? Because if you step into that space that feels a little bit uncertain, that's where your expansion and your growth happens. And it's also where you reach the people that are needing to find you. Because right now there's people out there who are waiting to find you. You have these wonderful gifts and they're out there looking for you. And so how can you just play small with this when you know that they're looking for you, right? It's like, go let yourself be seen, let yourself be heard. And with that, your business is going to grow, you're going to grow, and our world is going to be a better place.
100% agree with you. Visibility is our own responsibility.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Cammie, for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much, Erica, for having me.
And I want to thank you all for tuning in to Get Rooted Radio. If you missed any part of today's episode or want to listen again, go to getrootedradio.com for the podcast. And don't forget to tune in the first and third Monday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on Transformation Talk Revolution. As we close out today's episode, I want to remind you that you are worthy. If you are hurting or need help, please know the world needs you and it is a better place with you in it. Don't let the hard days win. Reach out for assistance. Call or text the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or text HOME, HOME, to 741-741 to reach a trained crisis counselor through Crisis Text Line. Both are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they are free. Thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing day, and I'm looking forward to the next time on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Visit getrootedradio.com if you have missed any part of this hit show, and tune in on transformationtalkradio.com to live fearlessly in your more and powerfully rooted in your unlimited yes. For more information and to work with Erica directly, visit getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com, and get ready to live it up, love it up, and let it go.